New concerns over Big Brother and privacy in America. The DNC and President Biden's allies are reportedly pressuring phone companies to monitor text messages to stop COVID misinformation. Adding to Politico, these groups are, quote, planning to engage fact checkers more aggressively and work with SMS carriers to dispel misinformation about vaccines that is sent over social media and text messages. And the FBI is getting some attention over this post on Twitter, urging Americans to monitor, quote, family members and peers to prevent homegrown violent extremism. Wow. Jesse, let me ask you this. If you have a family member whom you think might be engaged in something that they shouldn't be engaged in, it could create a domestic terrorism challenge, to borrow this language, how do you react to that? And in light of what you...
It worries me because I think my mom is going to narc on me. Mom text is going to go to Chris Ray. Christopher, Jesse Waters is listening to the Dan Bongino podcast, and he's radicalized. I mean, you just basically turn this country into Media Matters. You turn a bunch of Americans into narcs who monitor conservatives and get mad that they tell the truth. The other thing at the top part, you know, what makes Democrats in the media think they even know what misinformation is? They've been wrong on everything about the pandemic. The travel ban, the beach closings, the school closings, warp speed lab leak, mask mandates, hydroxy, and nursing homes. Now they're going to turn around and fact check by phone after being wrong on all of that? No.
I think the president should be concerned about everything that affects the safety of Americans. But this guy's, I mean, you don't want to know what I think. I mean, first of all, he's got people going door to door. I mean, that is reminiscent of a time in history to get people that then, you know, narc on family members. It was like over Thanksgiving, they were saying about COVID. If there are more than 6 people next door, call the cops, just like you'd call the cops if your kids were drinking. We got this whole new mentality now that we've got to turn each other in. It's all about divisiveness. It's all about dividing us, whether it's racism or whether it's them against us. What they're doing is they're creating all of these fighting groups that, you know, we're right and they're wrong, and we got to turn them in and turn them into criminals. It's not a good place to be in history.
Here's the thing. I think that whoever came up with the let's reach vaccine skeptics by monitoring their text messages was probably the same genius who came up with the idea that we should go door to door. They don't communicate clearly. I understand their intentions are very good. I think that what Biden and Harris could actually do, if they really cared about this issue, a couple of things. One, it's not just conservatives. And there are people that are certainly low income, and sometimes, like in black communities in particular, for example, where in those states where there's lower vaccinations, you could find both, right? And also younger people, the age group 18 to 29, they're very much the ones that are just like, well, hold on. But if Biden and Harris, who were they were the original vaccine skeptics.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They were, if they were willing to say, just imagine, like if they were willing to say, we're going to take a moment here, everybody, to say, we want to give President Trump credit on Operation Warp Speed. We want to thank him for the vaccine. I regret what I said as a candidate for president of the United States, and she says it too, like, I regret it. We were wrong. That was political. The vaccines are good. Like, if they were to do that, that would actually probably carry a lot more weight. The other thing on the FBI thing is that, so what they're saying is that the carriers now should have to do what Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube are deciding on their own. Right. And because we're saying that those are not government entities. So you're going to ask Verizon and AT&T and T-Mobile to actually do that. That's, to me, that won't even pass legal muster. Well, but also remember Apple. Apple's the one who wouldn't even share information with the FBI about a terrorist attack.
You would need a court order to do that, but they're just saying, go ahead and do it.
If you were a company, you should demand a court order because you should not do it on your own.
Yes, of course.
We have a full-on cyber warfare going on right now. Mm-hmm. You know, we are in a new kind of war, and we are fixated on ripping our country apart, turning us into Media Matters. The thing is, I always think about that. It's like we are trying to turn fellow Americans into narcs, so we can suppress debate and get rid of any enemy to some hard left progressive agenda. But you can't turn around and do it back to them, because they're so boring. Like, you could never actually narc on somebody who works for Media Matters, because all they do is they sit in their basement and type about us. Talk about a miserable life. Think about all those people on Twitter that's their cottage industry. They make their living off trying to wait for us to screw up. That's their life. You can't make fun of that because it's so tragic and sad that that's what they do every day. So it's hard to go after them, though they can go after exciting people like us, because we're always doing interesting things. Yes. And we look great, but it's drive them crazy.
And you're very sensual.
No, it's the raw sensuality.
Raw sensuality.
Yes, that's the name of my new cologne. Selling it at the Fox store. Did you know
really?
that?
With the animals are great leash?
Yes, exactly. Well, it's animal. It's raw animal magnetism.
2 for 1.
Yes.
Up next, can you keep a secret?
Did you see his face?